Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball here on Marquette's campus at the Al McGuire Center. Sophia Minnaert joined by Marquette men's head coach Shaka Smart. And coach, it is year 5. As we're sitting here today, we are single digits away from opening night. Just first of all, how are you, your staff, your players feeling as we're getting ready for another Marquette basketball season?
It's great to be back here with you, Sophia. Congrats on an awesome Brewers season. That was so motivating for us to follow. We got a chance to go to a game late in the regular season and just to witness what the team did and the connectivity and the togetherness, how they were able to drive performance through relationships, very similar to what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're super excited. Mm-hmm. There's a number down in the weight room that Todd Smith keeps and updates every day, and that's the number of days until the first game. And as you mentioned, now it's down to single digits. I mean, it was 200 at one point. So very, very excited about getting back to Fiserv and getting back in front of our fans. This team is so very different than last year's team, both with the departure of Stevie, Cam, and Job, but then also with the new guys we've added and then guys coming into new roles, Sean Jones being back on the court. So very excited about seeing this chapter of Marquette basketball be written by our players first and foremost, and then helping guide them and assist them and encourage them along the way.
Well, fans are really excited to see the team back on the floor just a couple days away now. And Coach, since we last saw the team in March, right, how critical is that time? Like you said, you're counting down the days to get ready for the next season, and that process starts immediately. Just how critical is that time from March and April through now, right, of what you and your staff and your players are doing to get ready?
The first step is making sure the guys want to come back, to college, and we've been fortunate at Marquette that we've had very good retention. Then in the spring, I think because of the length of the season and because of the physical demand on the players, to be honest, a lot of it is about the recuperation and the rejuvenation of their bodies, but at the same time starting to ramp up skill development because they all have areas where we want to help them grow. For every guy, we gave them something to go after in the offseason and a handful of areas where we really wanted them to grow. The guys have worked incredibly hard. Mm-hmm. We came together as a team starting at the beginning of June with our new guys coming in, and so that's kind of New Year's Day for the 25-26 version of a college basketball team because you have the freshmen now on campus, you have all the returners back, everyone's together in a room looking at each other and saying, okay, when we go win games, this is a group that's going to go do it. And then it's the process of building relationships, a team activity at least once a week. I mean, we do everything from mini golf to the Brewers game to axe throwing to fishing to strawberry picking. Mm-hmm. We actually just a week or two got done with our team retreat where we went away. We went to Chicago this year and we spent about 2.5 days just getting to know each other more on a very, very deep level as teammates and as coaches, having some really fun experiences together and trying to come out of that trip with an enhanced understanding of how this team can go on a special pathway to going and having a great season.
Well, and I think that period, right, that you're talking about, the summer period, the new year, if you will, and all of those activities, Coach, that's the relationships part, right? And how much of that relationship building starts in that period when you don't have the pressure of the season quite yet, right? And you're trying to build something new as this year's team, not last year's team.
I mean, the relationships are ongoing. It's 365 days a year, but you make a great point. There's two different components of the year. There's peacetime and wartime. And obviously that's not literal, but it is pretty close, in big-time college athletics. When you think about, as you said, the pressure, the desire to win, the focus on outcomes and results that comes along with the season, compared to the season when there are no external outcomes or results. It's just us in the building together by ourselves, working to grow and improve. The thing I always tell the guys, and this applies to young players and older players for different reasons, is that we cannot allow the focus on victory and outcomes and results to obscure or take away from our focus on growth. We want both. We want relationships, growth, and victory all driving each other. And so the foundation for that absolutely is set in the summer.
Coach, for you, as you and your staff are planning these activities, first of all, what are you wanting to do with them? What was the highlight for you this summer of what you guys did with your team?
Well, I just like spending time with the guys. I'll tell you what was really disorienting for me. It was fun, and I'd love to do it again, but it was disorienting because I don't have a lot of background in guns. As we went to play laser tag, and I'm sure we probably have some footage somewhere. Although it was dark, so it was two different teams, players and coaches together on two different teams. And we went to this really neat indoor laser tag course, and there's a lot of strategy behind it. And you get shot a certain number of times, and then you got to go back and all these things. And again, I don't have much background in that type of stuff, so that was a fun activity. But again, it was a little challenging and disorienting. We try to do things that take all of us out of our comfort zone.
But also, it's a time for you to set your circle for the year. What does that mean to your team?
So our circle is a visual depiction of who we are when we're at our best. And in our program, we have individual circles, and then we have the team circle. So the individual circles, if you were a player on the team, it would have a name, it would have an image, typically of the player, and then would have 3 to 5 elements. And our team circle, same thing. It has a picture, a visual depiction on the inside that's different every year. Most of the time it has elements on the inside. Our guys chose to do it a little bit differently this year. And then it has sometimes some things around the outside ring of the circle. So I'm sure at some point in the show, we will show our circle. We try to keep that stuff mostly internal, but we don't mind, sharing it with fans. I'm sure there'll probably be a lot of questions about what means what. But our guys, I really give them credit. They put a lot of time and thought and conversation into the creation of our circle. And it's meaningful. When we are in the circle, and we carry it with us everywhere we go, that's when we play our best. That's when we go do special things out there on the court, whether it's a home game, a road game, an NCAA tournament game. And when we don't play our best, typically it's because one or more of us has gotten outside of the circle, and that's why it's incumbent upon us as coaches and players to fight like crazy to get into that circle.
Shaka Smart's interview is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University. Back with head coach Shaka Smart here on Inside Marquette Basketball. And coach, over the last 3 seasons, 79 wins. That's the most in Marquette program history. So the returning players, they come in with, a formula, right, of how the relationships growth can ultimately lead to so many of those victories. And let's start with your 2 seniors that are returning, Chase Ross and Ben Gold. How excited are you to see them step up in this opportunity with some of the significant losses that your team is going to be managing after last year?
Very excited. And it is going to be a growth process for them even as seniors. Think about it. They came in as young players on a team with Tyler Kolek, Oso Ighodaro, Omax Prosper, and then last year's senior class, Stevie, Jop, and Cam. Those were the 6 guys ahead of Ben and Chase and Sean when they were freshmen. And now that Chase and Ben are in their last year, they have to drive the leadership. So they've learned from some great guys, but it's one thing to watch others. It's one thing to be in a support role when others are in that top cup, as we say. It's another thing to be in the top cup, and that's Chase Ross now. He's our guy. He's our best player. He's the guy that's going to drive winning more than anyone. And as I've told him, he doesn't have to do everything by himself, but he absolutely has to set a tone. And he absolutely has it in him. So very excited for both of those guys to take a step forward leadership-wise, consistency-wise, in terms of day in and day out, who they are when that ball goes up in the air in a Marquette uniform.
Well, and I think fans are also really excited to see Sean Jones back on the floor, right?
Who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be, Coach? I mean, for you, you've been with Sean, right, all this time, the ACL, the rehab. We were hoping to see him last year, ultimately wasn't ready. Where is he now physically? And just for him to get another opportunity with this group, what he brings.
He's had a really good offseason. He's had a focus about him. He's had a great work ethic. He, more than anyone on our team, is a student of the game. He watches so much extra film on his own. He's constantly coming in my office with ideas and wanting to watch things and wanting to collaborate, which you want from players, particularly at that position of point guard. Now it's just a matter of reacclimating to playing basketball games, real games. It's not practice. It's not, casting gym downstairs. It is Fiserv Forum. And that it is different, when the popcorn's popping and there's thousands of people in the stands and you've got a foreign opponent. If you can get in the paint, great things happen. If you can create shots for your teammates. We've been so spoiled over the last 3 years with the shot creation of Tyler Kolek and then Cam last year. Even though Cam was a great scorer, he created a lot of shot opportunities just by virtue of the attention the defense gave him and then his willingness to make the right pass for his teammates. And that's what we need from Sean Jones, and that's what we need from NJ, our freshman point guard. If those guys can be a great two-headed monster at that position, that goes a long way towards us having a great season.
Well, since you mentioned NJ, Nigel James Jr., point guard right? You've spent a lot of time with that group. Nigel's going to be part of this freshman class. 5 freshmen coming in. First of all, the challenge of that, right? And you've spoken about your freshman readiness program, how much you and the staff have already poured into these guys before they've even come on campus. And then 2 red shirts as well with Ian Militic and Sheik Pearson. Just, Coach, how do you manage bringing in 5 new people to your program?
Well, first of all, they've poured into each other. They've done a great job of that. With this freshman readiness program, the best thing about it was the group text that we had together, the interactions that they had with each other, and then their own one-on-one communication. And then we did a lot of Zooms. And by the end, what was really cool was they were doing Zooms without us, without the coaches. It was just the signees. It was the incoming guys. It was 4 of them at the time. Sheik was still getting ready to play AAU basketball. And then after winning the Peach Jam, he made that quick transition to coming here, and he is going to be terrific. I've coached a lot of good bigs. Okay. I'm telling you, he has a real chance. The only reason really he's redshirting is because of how quick that transition was, going from being a junior in high school to taking 1 summer class to getting his degree and then getting here. And then he's also about 200 pounds soaking wet, so we got to put some weight on him. But we will. And he's eating, and he's spending every day with Todd Smith. Ian Militic, as you mentioned, is also redshirting. He has a bright future. Also needs to get stronger and just continue to evolve into becoming the secure, steady version of what he can be. But his skill set is terrific. He's 6'7", he can pass, he can handle the ball, he can defend different positions, he can shoot the ball. So the future's bright with those guys. The 3 freshmen that are going to play this year, Michael Phillips, NJ we talked about, and then Adrian Stevens, those guys are all guys we think can contribute to our team, but also haven't played a college game yet and have a ton to learn about, honestly, more than anything, the cultural component of what's required to be on this team, and not just be on this team, but get put in the game. Those guys, defensively and offensively, certainly have advantages that add to our team. If they can keep adding to who they are culturally for us, that's going to go a long way.
Well, and Sean Jones said recently they're Marquette guys. So as a coach, when you hear that, and we haven't seen them on the floor yet, right, as fans. So when you hear that, is that validating to you and your staff of like, the right guys are here and our players are already bringing them into the fold?
Well, a big part of our job is recruiting Marquette guys. If we don't recruit Marquette guys and we bring non-Marquette guys to Marquette, right there you have a major lack of alignment and, as I would call it, incoherence on your team. Those guys are definitely Marquette guys. We have downstairs, you've been down there, the Jay Crowder famous quote from several years back about what a Marquette guy is, and then we've got some images of some of the best of all time, and I'm really proud and happy that we've been able to add some images of guys we've coached here over the last 4 years. The thing about Marquette guys in recruiting is they're potential Marquette guys. They have the markings of Marquette guys, but they haven't become that yet. Just like D. Wade, his freshman year when he was sitting out, got his butt kicked in practice many a day by Brian Wardle. You know, he wasn't yet the Dwayne Wade that everybody knew later on. Now, he became that pretty quick, and he certainly showed flashes during that season of he's going to be this. And so I'm not saying we have Dwayne Wades in this class.
but we might.
But these guys are showing flashes for sure of what they're going to be. And I do think, again, with the 3 that are playing this year, if they can continue to gain sturdiness and a cultural readiness to impact our team, then they can go in the game and help Marquette win.
Inside Marquette Basketball is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare, helping you to live fully.
I'm Chase Ross. I'm a senior, and I'm a guard.
Chase Ross is one of those guys you coach who you see how special he is before he does. So when he came in here as a young man, freshman at Marquette, he didn't know if he was good enough to play in the Big East Conference or put on a Marquette uniform and affect winning.
The guys ahead of me, they gave me ultimate confidence and belief that I could be here, because when I first got here, I didn't think I was able to fit in or didn't think I was going to play.
So part of our relationship building with Chase was getting him to trust us enough and trust our belief enough for him to go out there on the court and go after it. And man, has he grown. It's been unbelievable to watch him come into his own as a young man, as a grown man, be able to communicate more and more with others, teammates, coaches, those inside the program, and just as importantly, communicate with people he doesn't even know, because he knows I'm Chase Ross and I have major, major power inside of me.
One area I've grown at Marquette is getting outside myself, checking in on other people on staff or our support staff, calling them, just seeing how their day is, just making sure the people that support me, make sure I turn around and support them as well. My relationships and growth have helped me achieve victory this way.
For Chase Ross, the Colorado game in the second round of the NCAA tournament his sophomore year is a great example of that.
Me and Tyler had a bit of a disagreement in the round of 64 on our Sweet 16 year. And after that game, we had a long talk in the mill room, just talking about what we can do to get better. He kind of, in a jokingly way, he said, I didn't play as well, and so I want to prove to him that I belong.
Tyler Kolek really, really challenged him and pushed him to be better. Those two came together to be two of the best players on the floor on a court that was littered with NBA players.
Yeah. So the next game, when we played Colorado on our way to the Sweet 16, I had some big shots.
And Ross will fire a three. Wow. Chase Ross has made a
And it ultimately led to a victory.
And the embrace that those two shared after the game is the best embodiment of relationships, growth, and victory that you'll ever find.
And we had a nice long hug after the game, and he told me how much he loved me and I loved him. I'm proud of the victories I've achieved on the court, in the classroom, and as an ambassador, and I want more.
Well, Coach, you said it. You're going to be relying heavily on Chase Ross. He is the guy. He's going to be the one driving the bus for this team this year. And as we just heard from you and from him in that feature, the relationships, the growth, the victory, it's all been there for Chase.
He's going into his senior year. He has a chance to be the all-time winningest player at Marquette. Think about that now, Sophia.
That's
Think
incredible.
about the guys that have played in this program, the teams that have graced that uniform. He has a chance. Now, we have to win a good number of games this year to do that, but what he's done through 3 years, the role that he's played with the guys that he's played with has been significant, but make no mistake about it, what we're asking for is a majorly elevated role.
And Coach, recently at Big East Media Day, Chase Ross from first team preseason, all Big East, big honor, big expectations for him. Coming off of a big year, obviously, 10.5 points for him last year, 61 steals. He has been a presence defensively. What is next for his growth on the floor?
Well, I think the next thing is actually being first team all Big East and even beyond. Every year we show our guys the preseason all-conference team and then the postseason all-conference team from the last several years. And we highlight in red the guys on the preseason all-conference team that ended up not being postseason all-conference, and then we highlight in green the guys that ended up being on the postseason all-conference team that were not thought of in that way in the preseason. And the common denominator is winning. Winning is what creates those type of accolades for a team, for a player in the postseason. in the preseason, everyone's kind of going by stats or what people have done in the past, or maybe a transfer, what they've done at other schools. Chase was our lone representative on the preseason all-conference team, which I don't know that we have anyone else that's merited that yet. And that's what's going to be so much fun about this season, is us as a team and then our guys as individual players being able to go after winning and go after those type of accolades.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Pepsi. Thirsty for more. Coach, we're all waiting to get back to Fiserv Forum. It'll be November 3rd against Albany, opening night. You guys had a phenomenal home record at Fiserv Forum last year, 14-3. That home support to get back into in front of the home fans. What does that mean to your team? And finally play someone that's not wearing a Marquette uniform.
I mean, quite honestly, it's why all of us came to Marquette, is for nights like November 3rd against Albany. And I think the key for us, really for any team, is all off-season long, you're so incredibly excited to get back to Fiserv Forum, to get back in front of your fans, to unveil the new version of Marquette basketball. But then, in less than 48 hours, you play again.
Yeah.
And so you have to go after winning. You get to go after winning on that opening night, and it's so incredibly important, and you want to go 1-0. But then can you be just as excited, just as fired up, just as mentally intense on that next game? Because we happen to play again on the Wednesday, and then we play again over the weekend. The focus on being present, the focus on being highly conscious. We talk a lot about consciousness, trying to help our guys raise their consciousness, is so incredibly key. We're so grateful to be back in front of our fans in a few days. There's no fans like Marquette fans. Just that energy in Fiserv Forum and the way that it reciprocates is something really special to me.
Finally, Coach, you're wearing Cam Jones, drafted by the Indiana Pacers. You've got Tyler Kolek, you've got Oso Ighodaro, you've got Max Prosper, all in the NBA. For your fans, for your team, to be able to follow your Marquette guys in the NBA, how fun is that? How proud are you?
It's so much fun, and it's exciting to see their journey. You mentioned Max, he's in his 3rd year now. Tyler and Oso in his 2nd year. Oso's starting right now, which is really cool. Tyler was in a major fight in training camp with some other guys, did a great job earning his way into the rotation for one of the best teams in the NBA. If we weren't so busy with our own team, one thing I probably would do is just spend a ton of time, attending their games and being around them in this journey, because we were a small part of it while they were here. And we're not, as important to them as maybe their moms or dads, but there was a really, really strong bond that was formed that continues throughout, and we feel like we're still their coaches.
Yeah.
Even if we're coaching them more on the mental, emotional side now than we are on the basketball side.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch the Marquette guys in the NBA, and we all can't wait to see this year's team on the floor here. Opening night, November 3rd against Albany. Coach, thank you so much for your time, and we can't wait to see you back at Fiserv Forum.
Great to be back with you, Sophia, and very excited about the start of the season.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,